I don't know who this guy is, but this guy has some great takes.
So, but you said that you were saying something that you feel bad for John. Is that the deal?
I do feel bad. Listen, John is not a good guy. I think most people that know John know that he's not a good soul, but he's also a lost human being. He's a raging alcoholic. I can't imagine going from what John had at one point in his life. He was an icon, a national, maybe even a global icon. You could say the name Stuttering John anywhere in the world, and it would be like Pepsi Cola. It was that kind of brand. And then he got on.
That might be an overreach, but he's onto something.
By some miracle,
was John as well known as Pepsi Cola? I don't know.
World, and it would be like Pepsi Cola. It was that kind of brand. And then he got on by some miracle the Jay Leno show, and it was amazing what he accomplished in his life. So to go from that to where he is now has got to be one of the biggest falls from grace anyone has ever seen. And I find it very sad, and I find it sad for John, and to watch him in the state he's in, and the way he looks, his health, the drinking, everything about him, it's just gross and disgusting. And I'd like to think it's a character he's portraying, and maybe in real life he's not like that. But I don't think so. I think that's John now, and it kind of breaks my heart because I know John longer than I know you, and I remember him from those years. And to see this guy, it's sad. He lost his wife. He lost his kids. I don't know what he does for money or any income. Everybody hates his guts. And he goes on this podcast, and he just makes it worse for himself with every show. And yes, is he making himself notorious? Yes. But it's not a good look, and not in a good way. And I'm a kind of guy that believes as long as they get your name spelled right, any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, sorry about that. Oscar Electric. I have somebody, not Oscar, but somebody is kind enough to do those really cool little promos and shit for me. And you know, I like for when you type it in the way you spell it, nobody wants, the computers don't want to fucking push it through.
Got it.
Because it's like, Chaunce, and then it's like wrong. And it's like it's spelled wrong. Then you got to go back, and it's spelled wrong. It's so
that's all good. But anyway, yeah, John just kind of, I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for all the people like Shulis who make their living just attacking a pathetic character like John.
Well, I think in Shulis' defense, John earned it.
He earned it.
I'm sure there was something. I think it was a matter of how many times can you be pushed around.
Remember, Shulis had 2 networks and 6 producers, and how many shows? 40. It was all gonna. Bob was like, it's all gonna be on the Stuttering John show. All we're gonna do is watch Stuttering John all day, and the money's gonna roll in. That's what Levy said. Now look, people are feeling sorry for this shitware. They're literally feeling sorry for the shitware. This guy's 100% right. It's pathetic to have to cover Stuttering John every day, like it's your fucking job. And again, it'd be one thing if they're making money. They're not. They're not. They make some money, but they got to divide it by 5.
There was something. I think it was a matter of how many times can you be pushed. Well, I think in Shulis' defense,
Shulis, who are, and I feel sorry for all the people like Shulis who make their living just attacking a pathetic character like John.
Well, I think in Shulis' defense, John earned it.
He earned it.
I'm sure there was something. I think it was a matter of how many times can you be pushed around. And I again, my status with John right now is even. There is no animosity either way. Okay. So, and for the first time in a long time, with someone I know, I don't have any problems with him. Okay. That being said, John is a button pusher. He will push your buttons until you, and then he doesn't know when to stop.
No.
And he's always like and he's never wrong. He's always right. And for years and years and years, I put up with that for a long time. And now the reason why I'm at a status quo with John is because after all those years, I finally don't feel I'm getting that vibe from him anymore. And for me, someone who's dealt with it for over 30 years as well, I feel like it's finally, it's like that weight lifted off my shoulders where I don't have to worry that John's going to do something behind my back, and maybe he will. I still don't know that. Or John's going to say something to I feel for the first time that maybe it's a normal relationship and a normal friendship. And that's the reason why
he may get mad at you for having me on. Like he may trash.
All right, I thought there was more to it. I don't know. I watched this on Reddit. It's the same thing, but it seemed like it was more Pacific.
But anyway,
wrong. You got to go back and it's spelled wrong. You know, it's so
that's all good. But anyway, John just kind of, I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for all the people like Shulis who make their living just attacking a pathetic character like John.
Well, I think in Shulis' defense, John earned it.
He earned it.
I'm sure there was something. I think it was a matter of how many times can you get?
I'm not an animal. Like that's what I see when I think of Dabbleverse. Is
problem. I just never do anything like that.
If you
affecting people's lives outside of this, that again, I can't.
Crazy.
I can't like blame Shulis for figuring an algorithm out that.
And these are in 25.
Somehow there's a different clip, even though it's starting the same.
Wrong. You got to go back and it's spelled wrong.
So maybe the other one was edited. Because this is I like this guy's take on this one too.
Wrong. You got to go back and it's spelled wrong. It's so
that's all good. But anyway, John just kind of, I feel sorry for him, and I feel sorry for all the people like Shulis who make their living just attacking a pathetic character like John.
Well, I think in Shulis' defense, John earned it.
He earned it.
I'm sure there was something. I think it was a matter of how many times can you be pushed around. And I again, my status with John right now is even. There is no animosity either way. Okay,
that's true. But I also think it's bad karma.
Oh, this is edited. You could see the edit right there. My bad. I know this is a better clip, but I knew they started the same.
No animosity either way. Okay,
that's true. But I also think it's bad karma. Like if I made my living, just my whole life, my whole existence was making fun of John.
This guy's right. It's bad karma. It's not healthy. Like I said, if I watch too much of John or Ray DeVito, I physically feel ill. And that's why Red Bar's probably dead. That's why Melton's always sick. It's literally not healthy to just watch the same thing over and over and over.
Even, there is no animosity either way. Okay,
that's true. But I also think it's bad karma. Like if I made my living, just my whole life, my whole existence was making fun of John. I think that's bad mojo, man. I don't know. Anybody, if you make a living just attacking someone every single day and that's how you make your money, it's bad.
Yeah. Rat thing to do. If John does it, then makes him a rat. But I think the John Shulis thing was that, John just pushes. And then, I think Shulis just broke and finally said, I had enough of you, bro.
Yeah, but that's not just breaking. That he makes his living off of John. And that's kind of crazy.
Who's suing who?
They're all bottom feeders. And this is why, I know Howard Stern's in the news for not paying these people. This is why he didn't pay these people. He knew what they were. He paid some people. Howard paid Robin. He paid Baba Booey. He paid Artie Lang. He paid that other guy, Fred. If they brought value to the show, but he knew most of these losers were bottom feeders. Grillo, Shulis, Stuttering John. They're all bottom feeders.
And who's these lawyers
every
cost
day
money.
it's something else, and these are
but
that's kind of crazy.
Who's suing who and
his living?
I had enough of you, bro.
Yeah, but that's not just breaking. That he makes his living off of John, and that's kind of crazy.
Who's suing who and who's these lawyers cost money.
It's something else, and these aren't 25-year-old men. These are almost senior citizens. Like these are old guys now.
Well, I can't
crazy.
I can't like blame Shulis for figuring an algorithm out that made him money.
Yeah, well,
let's all get together and fucking trash John. When it comes to affecting people's lives outside of this, that's where I draw the line and have a problem. I just never do anything like that.
If you were going to pay me $10,000 a month to make fun of John every day, I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could sleep at night. I mean, if I had a show and John came up as a topic, right, every now and then, and it was funny, that's one thing. But the show is based, the entire premise of the show and the Dabbleverse is making fun of John, who's a pathetic character.
This guy's 100% right. This guy's like a genius. He's our Stephen Hawking. This guy could be my permanent sidekick. I'm not kidding. I don't know who he is. I know he's a Trump guy, or if he's just wearing the hat ironically. But this guy's 100% spot on.
At this point, it's like he's like the hunchback in Notre Dame. You know what I mean? When I see John, it's like people throwing lettuce at him, and he's in a circle, and his back's all hunched up, and he has a funny. Geez. That's what I see John as now. I'm not an animal. That's what I see when I think of John. Look. I can't even watch. It's hard to even watch. It really is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my feeling. But whatever, everybody got to make your own life and do what you got to do.
Steve Grillo's take was all right. That's why this guy was an 8-year intern, because he's just a bottom feeder. Howard Stern can sniff him out. Can literally sniff him out. It's like, if the guy brings value to the show, I'll pay him. Otherwise, no thank you. So the Shulis and the Bob Levy'S and the Steve Grillos, he's like, yeah, we don't need you. We don't need you.